Доброго дня! Це урок англійської мови, на якому я хотіла би повторити певні граматичні матеріали, а саме речення умови. Hello, I'm Helen. I help my students to pass exams. So today I suggest you to revise a very important grammar material, to my mind, types of conditionals. So, to begin with, conditional clauses consist of two parts, the if clause and the main clause. When the if clause comes before the main clause, the two clauses are separated with a comma. For example, if I go to Paris, I will send you a postcard. I will send you a postcard if you go to Paris. Let's start with the zero conditional. Look at the screen. How do we form it? If plus present simple in if clause and present simple in main clause. For example, if you drop ice in water, it floats. If the temperature drops below 0 degrees Celsius, water freezes. Okay, when do we use zero conditional? We use it to say something is always true, law of nature, or to talk about something that always happens as a result of something else. Note that we can use when instead of if. For instance, if or when you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils, law of nature. And I get seasick when I travel by boat, always happens. Now let me make zero conditional sentences. If I wake up late, I am late for work. We use present simple in if clause and present simple in main clause. Why do we use zero conditional? Because I am late is the result of I wake up late. Exercise number 2. The task is to underline the mistakes and correct them. For example, I stay in bed if I was ill. It is incorrect because we use present simple in if clause and present simple in main clause. So the correct one is I stay in bed if I am ill. And one more, if you not pay on time, you have to pay a fine. It is incorrect, and the right variant is if you don't pay on time, you have to pay a fine. Okay. For further practice, I recommend you to follow this link. First conditional. The way we form it, if plus present simple in if clause and will, can, must, etc. plus bare infinitive or imperative in main clause. For example, if you study hard, you will pass the exam. And if you play with matches, you will burn yourself. So, when do we use it? Note that we use the conditional type 1 to talk about a real or very probable situation in the present or future. And remember that we can use unless instead of if not in the if clause. The verb is always in the affirmative after unless. If you don't do your homework, you'll be in trouble. Unless you do your homework, you'll be in trouble. There is no difference between these sentences. Okay, some practice, please. Complete the conditional sentence type 1 by putting the verbs into the correct form. The first one. If you send this letter now, she will receive it tomorrow. We use present simple in if clause and will plus bare infinitive in main clause. Why do we use the first conditional? Because it is a real situation in the future. And one more. If I do this test, I will improve my English. Okay. Don't forget, we can use unless instead of if not in the if clause. For example, I will take the job unless the pay is too low. And one more. I will be back tomorrow unless there is a plane strike. Unless, if not. Okay, note that the verb is always in the affirmative after unless. To have more practice, you should use this link. Look at the screen. Conditional type 2. The way we form it. If plus past simple in if clause and would plus bare infinitive in main clause. For example, if I had more money, I would travel the world, but I don't have more money. I'm true in the present. And if I were you, I would ask for help, advice. So, remember that we use the conditional type to talk about an imaginary situation, unreal in the present or future. It is also used to give advice. We can use were instead of was for all persons in the if clause of type 2 conditionals. If Tony were here, he would help us. If I were you, I wouldn't feel sorry at all. Advice. Now exercise number 1. If I came home earlier, I would prepare dinner. Past simple in if clause and would plus bare infinitive in main clause. We use past simple. We use past simple and would plus bare infinitive because it's an imaginary situation in the present. Use the link to make the task. Okay, and at last, conditional type 3. The way we form it, if plus past perfect in if clause and would have plus past participle in main clause. For example, if he had left earlier, he would have caught his flight, but he didn't. And if you had studied harder, you wouldn't have failed the exam. Criticism. How do we form it? We use the conditional type 3 to talk about an imaginary situation in the past. It is also used to express regret or criticism. Okay. For more practice, put the verbs in brackets into the gaps. Form a conditional sentence type 3. The first one. If the weather had been nice, they would have played football. Past perfect in if clause and would have plus past participle in main clause. And one more. If we had gone to a good restaurant, we would have had a better dinner. Why do we use conditional sentence type 3? Because we talk about an imaginary situation in the past. For more practice, use this link, please. Okay, let's summarize. We use put in the correct phrases and form a conditional sentence type 1, 2, 3. Watch the underlined verbs. The first one. If we meet at 9:30, we will have plenty of time. We use the first conditional because we talk about a real or very probable situation in the present or future. And the second one. Lisa would find the milk if she looked in the fridge. We use it is the second one as we talk about an imaginary situation, unreal in the present or future. For further practice, use this link, please. Дякую, що були зі мною. Сподіваюся, цей матеріал був корисний для вас.